I just wanted to welcome everybody who's joining us today on behalf of Tuesday's Children. We are just thrilled to be able to partner with Chris Robbins today. Chris is a very well-known, established cook and caterer with Robbins Wolf is the name of his company. And he has been a caterer for many, many big celebrities and movie stars. And he has been on a lot of television shows doing cooking segments. So he might be familiar to some of the moms or dads out there that are with us today. And I have a question for all of the kids. I'm wondering, has anybody heard the name Christopher Robbins before in some other way? Is anybody? And
yes.
How would you know that name?
The TV show.
Ellie, how would you know that name? From Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, right. That's right. He's got a fun name to grow up with, right? This is how Chris Robbins grew up. This is what he is today.
Now you know what he's oh.
There you go.
He's not 6 anymore.
With no further ado, Terry, you might want to just say a few words as our executive director.
Yes, I've known Chris since, I don't know, 2002, I'm sure. And Chris did a lot in the beginning and the early years of Tuesday's Children. It's got to be 10 or 15 years since we've connected.
Absolutely.
We don't look exactly the same, don't we? All right, thank you so much, Chris, for doing this. This is so much fun.
Okay, I'm very excited. Okay, so let's get this started, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I want to say hello, Tuesday's Children.
Hi.
Can I get a hi, Chris?
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
I'm so glad to be here.
You have to unmute your phone in order to answer.
Yes.
But then mute it again.
Chris. All right, I want to welcome you to my kitchen. And we're going to make, what are we making today? What are we making? Everybody know what we're making today? We're making apple crisp.
Apple crisp.
That's right, exactly. Now, I want to be sure to, before we get started, I want to make sure, did everybody already cut up their apples like this? Like, are they all cut up in a bowl? Because we want to make sure that they're ready to go, because that takes the longest time. So if somebody doesn't have their apples ready, you have to let me know, okay?
Everybody seems ready to go.
Everybody's ready.
Everybody's showing me their apples. Everybody's apples look fabulous.
Good, good. Okay, so next most important thing when you're cooking and when you're doing anything before you do something with other people is we wash our hands, right? So did everybody wash their hands before we start?
Everybody says yes.
Good. We love that. We love that everybody washed their hands. Now, does anybody have any questions about what we're doing today? We're just going to start and wonder if you have any questions. Or is it everything pretty clear about the recipe and what we're going to be doing?
We have a question.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Is it okay if we add other fruits?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to be adding blueberries today. And
Great.
If you have strawberries or raspberries, or if you want to open a can of pineapple and drain it and add pineapple if you like that flavor, you can mix just about anything with an apple because apples have a very interesting flavor, but it's not complicated. So you can we're going to add blueberries. So yes, you can add raisins. You could add about anything. Okay. Now, where are we going to go? We'd already talked with everybody. We know everybody's here, so we're good there. We know that we have an interesting age bracket all the way from age 3 to I think 13 or something. So that's great. There's a lot of different ages here. We're all going to have fun together making this thing. Okay. Everybody that's here has an older person that's helping them, right? Everybody say yes if so or wave.
Yep.
Okay, good. And of course, I have my helpers here too. I have my daughter Mallory and my daughter Jill.
Hi.
Mallory and Jill. Mallory is the one who's holding the iPad. so that you
I'm
can,
the director.
she's the director. She's making it so that I can stand here and you can watch me do the different things. And Mallory created digitally this wonderful logo,
Woo!
Kids Cooking with Chris. So I want everybody to say, hi, Mallory.
Hi, Mallory.
Hi, Mallory.
Hi, Mallory.
Say hi to Mallory, everybody. Say hi to Mallory.
My other daughter Jill is here also, and I want
Videographer.
videographer Jill all this because it's fun to have a record of it. And so everybody say hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill. Hi, Jill.
Okay, let's cook apple crisp. Let's do this.
Woo!
All right. So first thing we have to do is we have to preheat our oven. So I need everybody to go over to their oven and preheat it to 350 degrees. Okay, because we want the oven to be nice and warm when we put this in, okay?
350.
350. So everybody let me know when that's done, okay?
Let's see. I got some thumbs up.
Okay, as soon as everybody has that done, you can do that. Okay, and one little quick note. I put a piece of foil down in my oven because if this dessert bubbles, and you don't want it to bubble down on your actual oven bottom. So put down a foil or a cookie sheet or something when we get ready to go in and put the actual apple crisp in. You want something to catch it if it bubbles, okay? Okay, now everybody has their apples. We're gonna roll next to the next thing.
Ask you the ingredients, okay?
All their dry, does everybody have all their dry ingredients, their flour and their
Give her a
sugar?
thumbs up.
Everybody has all those ingredients ready to go, right?
Oh, sorry. We're on mute.
We got some thumbs up, so I think we're good.
Okay, good. So the first thing we're gonna do is get your pan that the apples are gonna go in when we bake them, okay? We need the pan that you're gonna do, and you need butter. Like a stick of butter, or you can put your hand in a little plastic bag, like a sandwich bag, and you can hold a piece of butter that way. Because we wanna butter the bottom and the sides of the container. You know, you wanna get,
Just drop it in.
Now peel it like this.
You butter this?
you gotta get the grease around the edges and on the bottom so that when the apples cook, they don't stick and get stuck to the pan. You know? So you're gonna put,
You do this one. Oh, wait. Yeah.
so when everybody has it's kind of like nice and covered, everybody let us know, okay? And we'll go on to the next thing.
Looks like everybody's getting it done.
Holly, you wanna do?
Can I do?
Yeah.
So, you know,
Wait. Oh, yes. No, go on.
is everybody ready? Did everybody do that?
We'll continue with.
Okay, you want me to move on with the
No,
recipe?
no, you can-
Oh, so just while everybody's doing that, so where did I get this recipe? So this recipe came from my mom, and my mom lives in Maine. And does everybody know where Maine is? Has everybody heard of the state of Maine?
Yay!
Good. So I want everybody to give a big thank you Betty Robbins.
Thank you,
Thank
Betty
you,
Robbins.
Because
Where is she in Maine? What town?
she's in a place called Bailey Island. My mom and dad, they're on Bailey Island, an island in Maine, about in the mid-coast.
Cool.
So then my sister Cindy was also involved because she's the one who typed the recipe and sent it to me. And my mom has been making this apple crisp my whole life, so that goes back to 1962. And she was making it with her mom, my grandmom, before that, all the way back into the 1940s. So this recipe goes way, way, way back.
It's a secret family heirloom.
And you're all gonna learn it today.
And you
okay?
all get to share it.
Yes. Okay, so everybody have the pan buttered? Give me a thumbs up if you have the pan buttered, okay?
Looks good, everybody.
Okay, good.
Nice buttered pans.
Now, we're gonna go to the apples, okay? Everybody has their bowl of apples, right? All right, so now what you're gonna do is we're gonna take your cinnamon and we're gonna sprinkle. Now, this is important to understand. You don't wanna turn the cinnamon upside down because too much cinnamon would come out. So you just wanna tilt it and just kind of like, just a little bit like that, just about like that, okay? Not too much.
Just like
You know,
that.
just about like that. And now what we're gonna do, this is where it gets really fun. Because now we get to use our hands. We're gonna mix the apples with the cinnamon. So get your hands in there, okay? Mix it around, okay? You want to smell the cinnamon. You can smell it. You can probably feel that the apples are a little bit juicy now, because as the cinnamon hits the apple pieces, it actually starts making the juices come out. And so that's what makes this just so delicious when we get there later on when it's all done, okay? So now our hands are a little bit gooey, so we probably have to rinse them off, okay? So quick little rinse. Everybody let me know when you're done rinsing, okay?
Mixing and rinsing.
Mixing and rinsing is a beautiful thing. We have a quick little paper towel. That's good.
This is what they should look like.
Yeah, they should be like that, and you should smell the cinnamon. The cinnamon should have a really excellent smell right now, okay?
They're smelling them.
Okay. But
It
now
smells
if you-
good.
If you have another berry or something else you want to add, you're going to add that, okay? So I have these blueberries that were in my refrigerator. So I'm just quickly adding them. I'm just going to take a spoon this time and just mix that around just for a minute.
Blueberries?
Yeah, blueberries, and you know, blueberries are the Maine state berry. They grow wild in Maine.
Wow,
And
full circle.
I grew up picking blueberries outside of the house, and I would just eat them as I went along. So now we got the blueberries. So those are all added. And now we're gonna pour our apples into our baking dish. Okay, so now we're gonna
Into the buttered pan.
into the buttered pan, the baking dish. You're gonna pour the apples, okay? And you can take, if you have a spoon handy, you can just kind of spread them out so they're kind of even, okay? So you can see that all the apples are touching all the butter that you put in, and that's good. That means that when it cooks later, none of these apples or anything that's in here is gonna stick to the pan. It's just gonna, you know, be perfect. It's just gonna be able to, when you scoop it out.
Nice, Kristen. Looks good.
All right, everybody let me know when your apples are all in the pan, okay?
Looks good. Mm.
Okay, if everybody's ready, we'll move on. We're gonna move on. And
Everybody looks ready. Is there anybody
ready?
who's... Everybody's pans look fabulous.
I love that. Okay, so now you should have an empty bowl because we're gonna mix all the dry goods together. Some of you may have already mixed them. Did somebody mix them already, or are we gonna mix them together now? We're talking about the flour and the sugar. I took them out and I put them in bowls. So my cup of sugar, my pours a cup of flour. I already measured them out. But if you're gonna actually measure them out, this is where you'll start doing that. Like you'll take the flour and you'll measure it. If you're gonna do it from the or you'll pour the sugar into the cup if you're gonna do it now. Okay, so whichever you have to do, just let me know when you're ready. We're gonna start adding these just the dry ingredients. We're gonna put the flour in first. Okay, we're gonna dump the flour in. Okay, and then we're gonna dump the sugar, the 1 cup of sugar. Okay, that goes in.
Okay, looks like people are measuring, so we'll wait a sec.
Okay, for those of you who are measuring, that's great because you want to make sure you get it right. Because when you bake, you have to follow the measurements.
Someone said hi. Can you please slow down?
Oh, okay. I'll slow down, no problem. You guys let me know when you let me know. So while we're waiting, I just want, like, does everybody like apples? Does everybody want to eat this afterwards? Because, you know, you have to, I hope everybody likes apples. I figure apples, you can, just about anybody can get an apple.
Looks so good, everyone.
All right, let me know
Let
when
me
you.
ask a question. I have a question.
Sure.
Has anybody ever gone apple picking and picked their own apples?
Yes.
People have.
Anybody ever go to an orchard and pick their own apples?
Ooh, those are the best.
Those are the best. Yeah, the ones that I'm using today, these are Macintosh apples. I like these because they're really naturally sweet. A lot of people like Granny Smith when they cook with apples. Granny Smith are a little bit tartar. They're not quite as sweet, and they're a little denser, so they hold together a little more. These get a little soft when they cook, but I kind of like that. But that's the beauty of apples. There's so many different kinds of apples. There's
Beautiful apples.
There's something like, I don't know, 7,000 different apples on the planet. I mean, that's just amazing.
Wow.
Little fun fact. All right, everybody ready to move on to the next item? We're gonna measure out our baking powder next.
Can I pour this in?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna put the baking powder in. Okay, that goes in.
Cool.
Okay. And then we're gonna do our 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I took my little 1/4 teaspoon and I put 3 in a little dish, so that because it's 3/4. So this is a little 1/4 3/4 one. And now I'm just gonna take the salt and I'm just gonna dump it in on top.
How much
Three.
baking powder must be?
Mix, mix, mix.
And again, the secret ingredient, a little bit of cinnamon. Again, we're not gonna pour too much. We're just gonna sprinkle a little on top, like that, just about like that. You don't need a lot, because remember, we already put some cinnamon on the apples, you know, and at the end, we're gonna put a little more cinnamon on top. The cinnamon is like the best thing here, you know, it's just really the best. All right, so now we're gonna mix.
Wait, hold on.
Everybody let me know when you're ready, because now we're just gonna mix it up. We just wanna mix all this together. The flour and the sugar and the cinnamon and the baking powder and the salt, all the dry ingredients. We want to make sure it's all nicely mixed together.
How's that going for everybody? Looks like it's going well. Looks like people are mixing.
Good, we love to
Mixing
mix.
properly.
We love to mix. Okay, now, the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna set that aside for a minute, because everybody has an egg ready and a whisk or a fork, because you can mix just like with a fork easily, just as easily as you can a whisk. So next we're gonna take our egg. Your helper will probably want to do this for you, some of you, and we're gonna snap it on the side a little bit, and then we're gonna put the egg into the small mixing bowl, and we're gonna throw the egg away into one of these other little dishes that we have handy, thankfully. And now you're gonna take a fork or a whisk or, you know, any kind of thing that has a little bit of edges to it, and we're gonna quickly beat the egg. And we wanna make sure we beat it fully. You wanna make sure all the white and all the yellow are all fully mixed together. So we'll take a minute to do this and make sure it all looks nice and good, okay? Okay, so it should look like a yellowish mixture fully. You don't wanna see any of the white, you want it all mixed together, okay?
Chris, we had one question. Just to go backtrack for a second, what dry products go first? Someone is a little behind, just so that they can catch up.
Yes,
Okay,
I
so-
was chatting with them, but yes, let's go over it.
Okay,
That
so
would be helpful.
Perfect.
you're gonna take your 3/4 of a cup of flour and put that in the bowl. And then you're gonna take your cup of sugar, nice full cup, you know, and you're gonna add that. And then we have the other two ingredients, the baking powder and the salt. And you should have a couple of little 1/4 teaspoon and teaspoon. And you put the teaspoon of the baking powder in. And the beautiful thing about the baking powder can is that it gives you a flat side, so you can just make it a perfect amount. You know, you just rub it along that perfect flat side. Whoever invented this can deserves a gold star in cooking. So then you add that, and then the last thing is the salt.
3/4 teaspoons.
And I don't have a 3/4 teaspoon. I have a 1/4 teaspoon. So I poured a little 1/4 in. I want to like do it over here. You know, you do a little 1/4, like that would be
3/4.
3 of these.
Of a teaspoon.
How's everybody doing? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody good?
Everybody ready to eat? I am.
I'm ready to eat.
Thumbs up.
Okay, so if everybody's ready, next we get to this is another fun part. We get to use our hands again. So if everybody has their whole dry mixture together and their beaten egg, now we're gonna pour the egg into the dry goods. And I have a white spatula just so I can get all the egg out. If you don't have a white spatula, guess what? You can use your fingers, because we're gonna get in there with our hands, okay? So you can even use your fingers to get most of it out. And that's kind of fun because it's gooey. I like gooey stuff. Okay. Now we have to go in. If you have a spoon, you can first start with the spoon. You can start mixing it all together with the spoon, just to get the whole egg stuff moving around. You know, and you can see that it's starting to kind of make like a pastry. You know, see what I mean? It's all kind of coming together. Now we get to put our hands in it, though. You can take this stuff off the spoon and start moving it around with your hand. Now, you literally want to like press it together. Try to get all those big clumps of egg mixed in with the dry stuff. Don't forget to get to the bottom. This is going to take a minute, so don't worry. We're not in a rush here, because you really want to push it together, like between your thumb and your fingers, and mix the eggs. Mix the eggs with the flour and the sugar and all this, and you'll see eventually it's going to start to take on kind of like a granular quality, because all the egg is getting mixed in there. You go like this, you know, just because you want to get all of it mixed up nicely, okay? So just take your time. And I was thinking, you know, here we are making a dessert with apples. Does anybody have a favorite dessert that doesn't have apples in it? And, you know, you can let me know if we're going to do this again. You can let me know some of the things that you like to make, and maybe we could do one of your recipes together, perhaps, in the future.
Okay.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Everybody getting a nice mix?
Anyone have any questions?
It's like
Yeah.
they're mixing with their hands. Anybody have questions?
I want cookies.
You like cookies?
Me too.
Cookies are my favorite dessert. All right, now I'm gonna try to get all this stuff off my fingers. Okay, just pull it all. You know, just go like this, kind of like when you wash your hands. Just try to get most of it off. Get back in the bowl.
We did sugar, flour, bacon.
Yeah, we put everything in.
Does it feel kind of
Didn't put it-
granular?
Didn't tell us
Like-
to put the butter. He never said butter, did he?
No, we're not doing the butter yet.
The butter's coming up.
This is only the egg and the dry stuff. Okay, and you can get most of it off your hand, your fingers. Okay, and now we have to obviously quickly rinse our hands off. Okay. We clean our hands off. Shouldn't take too long because this stuff comes right off with water. Still got my whisk and my little lemon I had a little bit of lemon on my apples. I'm going to use a paper towel and quickly dry my hands.
All right. Okay, let's wait a minute.
Yeah. Everybody, we have time to catch up.
What are your hands like?
That's what.
Yeah, so if you go back with your spoon, and you can see that it's kind of a little bit thick, but it's all perfectly mixed together. It should all be kind of like one color, kind of like a light tan, you know? And it should have the same kind of crumbly, apple crisp crumble. Some people call it apple crumble. Some people call it apple cobbler. But you want this crunchy, kind of granular sort of mixture, okay? Everybody let me know when you're ready to go to the next, okay?
Looks like we're just waiting on a few people to finish up.
Okay, good. This is exciting. I'm having so much fun, I don't even know what to say. I'm literally really so much fun to be doing this with you today. And meanwhile, while you're doing all this, you keep smelling the apples and the cinnamon.
So much fun.
Yes, and wait till you put it in the oven and it starts to cook. After about 10, 15 minutes, and if you're doing something else and you come back into the kitchen, your kitchen is going to smell amazing. You're going to be so happy. It makes your kitchen smell like you can't wait to eat it.
What happened?
They're really fun.
Mom? What?
Let me know when you're on. We'll be able to move on to the next step. The next step, for those of you, for you helpers, the next
Why
step
do we
is
look like that?
the next step for those helpers that are there. We're going to be melting the butter.
You went dark, I don't know.
So
There we go.
I'm
Oh
just
wait, someone said we need a few more minutes.
okay. Well, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the butter, just so everybody's on the same page with how much butter you need. You know, on the outside of the stick, probably most of you know this, but all the young people, you probably don't. On the side of the stick of butter, it tells you how much each piece, if you cut the butter up, how much it is. So we need 1/3 of a cup of butter. And if you think about it, if you think about one stick of butter,
What happened?
Okay, we lost Chris for a second, but I think he's coming back. So everybody,
Terry's gonna have to finish the instructions.
Oh.
so every-
Well, right?
so this is a good time for everyone to get caught up, get everything ready.
He's already eating.
This is so much fun.
Yeah, is everybody enjoying themselves?
We
This
had
is
a
not
question.
gonna make it to Mother's Day, I can tell you that.
Butter.
Hi, we had a question.
We,
The
how
butter.
much butter should,
Oh, you're back. Good.
Hello, sorry, we had a technical difficulty, but we are back.
That's okay.
We're back, baby.
That's the
how
beautiful.
much butter should we use?
That's the beautiful thing about technology because
Oh,
if one-
There was a question there.
Excuse me,
Yes?
Go ahead.
how much butter should we use? How much butter should
Okay.
we use?
I'm going to tell you about the butter now before we melt it. So if you have a whole stick of butter on the side of the butter stick, most of them show you how much. We need a third of it. We need a third of a cup.
Yeah.
Whatever was in that recipe, a third of a cup, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have the recipe right in front of me at the moment. I moved on. But anyway, on the side of the stick, it'll tell you how much a third of a cup is. Basically, it's about 3/4 of the stick. So the normal stick of
Get
butter
on and tell them you'll be
is
right
like this
there.
long. Okay, so you're just going to cut off about a quarter of it if you haven't cut it yet. And so you want a piece about this big, okay? And you're going to put it in like a plastic
Pay
dish
attention, James.
or anything else that you normally would put into a microwave.
Touch
Or if you don't
it.
have a microwave, you'll melt it on the top of the stove, okay? So I'm going to walk over
There it is.
now. I'm going to put it in. Takes about 40 seconds, maybe a minute. I like to put a paper towel over the butter because sometimes there's little air bubbles inside the little brick there, and this will make it so that it doesn't splatter inside your microwave. So I'm gonna hit 45, I think 45 seconds, and we're gonna let that melt. Okay, so it'll take a few seconds. Come back and give it a quick little stir here.
45 seconds.
45 seconds. We're going to look at
3/4 of a stick of butter in the microwave.
Right. Thank you, Mallory, for your assistance.
You know what? I'm happy to help.
Let me know if you need me, okay?
We have about 18 seconds left, so we'll wait for a minute. And meanwhile, so we know that somebody likes cookies out there. What about anybody else? Anybody else have a favorite dessert that they like that somebody makes for them, and when they come home, sometimes they smell it cooking, they're so happy. I know I used to love that. Cookies are good. All right, I'm going to check the butter now. Yep, see, 45 seconds. It's perfectly cooked. A little bit bubbly there. Now, here's a little secret when you're working with something like butter. Sorry, before what we're going to do now is we're going to take our crumble.
Ooh, someone said we love chocolate chunk cookies.
Ah, those are good. So we're going to take our crumble now, let the butter set aside because you can let it cool down and sit a little bit, okay?
And brownies.
Brownies
I
are
love brownies.
All right, now we're going to pour the crumble over the apples. So you're going to spoon it out. Spoon it out like this.
Almost finished.
Or you can dump it out if your hands are big enough and you can hold it. You're going to put all the crumble over the apples. And then you're going to smooth it out. You're going to push it out around the edges.
Do we add the butter to the crumble?
Wait, we're going to do that in a minute.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're just doing the crumble first. Spread that around nice and evenly.
Ooh, cheesecake. Same. I love cheesecake, Amy.
You know, you can.
Ooh, that's James.
Oh,
James
you
is
can
on
use the
Amy's
spoon
camera.
if you want. If you want to use the spoon to spread it around so it looks nice and neat. Because remember, you're gonna give this to your mom. You're gonna give this to somebody on Sunday, on Mother's Day, right? Isn't that the plan? You're gonna give it to somebody that makes you happy, that's nearby, and you're gonna make this beautiful, beautiful apple crisp for them.
Excuse me.
Excuse me?
Yes?
What size of the bowl should we use? What
No,
size?
baking pan.
Baking pan.
I mean,
This, we don't know what size that is.
Oh,
This is an average, brownie pan.
it's like a square
It's
size.
like a square size. I think it's. I don't
That
really
okay?
remember. What's that?
ours is ready.
Are you supposed to butter it first?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We missed that step.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Should be okay?
No.
Yeah, that size looks good.
Deeper. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that size looks good.
We're still catching up.
Or you can use a pan like this if you have a metal one. This is
Or
fine
a metal
too.
one. Okay, thank
Like
you.
a brownie. I think it's like a brownie size, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. They're buttering their pan, so we'll
Okay,
wait a sec
wait
for
till
the
you
last
butter the
step.
pan, no problem.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Looks good.
I'll move it over here.
Also, before everyone puts their pan in the oven, I just want to take a quick picture of everyone. So don't put it in the oven yet.
But we haven't
Okay,
put
well,
the
we still have to add the butter. So
Right.
the butter.
Oh, the butter.
Yeah, the butter is what makes it all perfect.
Okay. Can you get the butter?
Now, while we're waiting, gang, hey gang, while we're waiting, if your helper can find a slotted spoon, that would be good, because we're going to use the slotted spoon with the butter.
Okay.
Because I'm going to show you a little secret that I learned once upon a time. So if you have a slotted spoon, this is just a fun little, secret kind of help when you're baking kind of a thing, and it works in this case with the melted butter that we have. If you don't have one, it's okay. It doesn't matter, because you can certainly pour the melted butter without the spoon. But I like to pour it through the spoon. It helps disperse the butter over the crumbs in like kind of a nice, neat, even way. But you can also do it without it. And one of the things that we are going to do is with a spoon, or if you have a spatula, I have a spoon too. We're going to mix up the butter a little bit, because you want to mix all the white stuff with the clear stuff, so it's kind of all even. Because the white stuff is actually the stuff that if you use salted butter like I did, it has a little bit of salt in it. If you use sweet butter, then it looks the same, but I mean, sweet or salted doesn't matter. They're both good. So you just mix it around, just so it gets all kind of mixed up, okay? Let me know if anybody needs any more time here before we go on to the next thing, okay? How's our friends that just joined us? Are they good? Or how far along are you guys?
Everybody looks like they've got some stuff in a pan in there. They're moving a little bit along. So we'll maybe wait another minute, and then we'll do the butter topping.
Okay, good.
Looks like everybody's just finishing up.
Okay, good. I'm having so much fun doing this with all of you. I'm very happy that they invented Zoom. I mean, let's have a round of applause for the person that invented Zoom. This is just a beautiful thing that we can do this, especially since we're all kind of stuck at home. We get to have a good time, even though we're basically just with our family, if or a sibling or a guardian or whomever you're with, or a cousin maybe, or anybody that you love, Trying to think if I'm going to get some other recipes together. I'm going to call after we finish with this, I'm going to call my mom, and Jillian and Mallory's grandmother, and I'm going to get her to send me some more recipes, because hopefully we'll do this again soon, and we can make something else where we can get our hands into some food and have fun and spend some time together. Okay.
Great. I think we can go with the butters.
Everybody ready for the peste resistance? All right, so if you have a slotted spoon, that's great. If you don't, it doesn't matter. If you don't have a slotted spoon, you gotta give it.
Excuse me?
Hi, we had a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
Our crumble didn't come out quite the way it's supposed to look. Like, we don't have enough crumble.
Doesn't look like a lot.
Should we make more?
Or is that okay?
So-
as it is?
So what you could do is you could it probably doesn't matter, you know what I mean? You can go ahead and make this one, and then next time you could double the recipe if you want, so that you would have more. But I think that as long as you're able to cover like at least the center with the crumble, if some of the edges don't have the crumble on it, that's fine.
Or if it's like mixed in or something.
Or if it gets a little mixed in, it's okay.
It'll just be like every bite will be a mystery,
It'll be good.
Every bite will be a surprise of crumble and apple.
Yeah, the crumble is just but the interesting thing that happens with the crumble is once we pour the butter over it, remember there's egg in here and there's baking powder, and the egg and the baking powder make the flour rise a little bit. So it'll expand a little bit over. That's why I was telling you that I like to have a piece of foil, because it does bubble and it does cook. So obviously, You know, if you don't have it totally covered with the crumble, it's really okay.
Okay.
It'll still be delicious.
It'll still be good.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So, I'm gonna do a quick mix. Again, we want to get the white and the clear butter mixed together, okay? So we want to make sure that's mixed. Just mix it up a little bit, okay? And then you're gonna either pour it slightly over the top, just a little bit at a time, or if you have the slotted spoon, you can pour it through the spoon, and the spoon kind of like, you know, makes it kind of like come out around the edges.
Could you help?
But you can also just do it without the spoon too, you know, it doesn't really matter.
I
can also just-
hold this without.
I know it's kind of hard to use the spoon, so you can just kind of like drizzle it like this, you know, little bits of drizzle here and there. That's all, that's good too. Like you can't really make a mistake here, okay? But then again, if you have your spoon handy, or if you have your white spatula, you can also get the rest of the butter and add it in. Okay? Doesn't that butter melted smell delicious? I love melted butter. I love butter. Anything with butter is going to probably be good, you know?
You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong with some butter. Okay. So, voila. We have our crisp ready to go in the oven. So
Wait, we got to take a picture first.
okay.
I know somebody said that they wanted to take a picture with everybody with their crisp.
Yes.
So I got you, Deanna.
And everybody's ready. Thank you.
Right, so if you have a clear one, you can see what it looks like from underneath.
In here.
We're getting my sister.
Ooh, okay.
My other one.
Picture.
Tell Penny to get in.
Here, cheater.
Everybody wants to be in here just for the picture. Come here, Penny.
I'll wait till everyone's ready.
She'll tell you when it's ready.
Here's your picture.
Ready.
Here's your- Okay, there we go.
Okay, everybody ready?
All right.
All right.
No, he doesn't have to
That's
be
all
there.
right.
He doesn't have to be there.
It's all right.
1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Yay! We have our apple crisp ready to go. So remember, you want to put a cookie pan or a piece or some foil on the rack that's in the oven, because this might bubble over, and you want it to bubble over onto something so it doesn't fall.
You don't want to make a mess.
You don't want it to fall onto the bottom of the stove, or the oven, I mean. So you're going to kind of put it in there. I have a really big piece of foil because I have a big roll, but if you have a smaller one, you can put 2 pieces, you know, and you're going to put it in there, your 350-degree oven, and it's going to cook for about 45 minutes.
There it goes.
Okay.
Bye, Apple Crisp. See you on the other side.
Crisp in here for 45 minutes.
Hold on, hold on.
You want to see it go in the oven?
Wait, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot something.
You want to see it go in the oven?
No, yeah, we'll take it out of the oven. I forgot.
Oh, God.
Sorry. We have to sprinkle a little more cinnamon.
Oh, at the top?
Oh.
At the
Magic
top.
ingredient. We have to sprinkle a little more on top.
That looks good.
Just like that.
I missed it. What are we doing?
Sprinkle a little
sprinkling-
more cinnamon.
A little more cinnamon on top.
Sorry, we forgot that
I
step.
forgot that step, sorry.
I don't know. I feel like I put something together and I have things left over. I still have a stick of butter, sticking a third of butter or something.
Well, you have the butter from the beginning when we did the pan left over. We didn't use that. But you melted the butter for the crisp, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the other butter was what you used in the pan.
Yeah, so you don't need to cook that.
You don't need to cook that butter.
All right.
There it goes.
There it goes. Now it's got the cinnamon on top, and we're going to put it in the oven, and it's going to cook for 45 minutes. So right now it's 1:45 basically. So that means it's going to cook until 2:30. So that's easy to remember. 45 minutes. But wait, we're not done, gang. We're not quite done. Hold on. So
Take it out again?
this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Okay.
Oh.
So I made,
Whoa.
Valerie and Jill and I made one yesterday, so you can see what it looks like when it's done. So what you're going to do on Sunday,
Cool.
You can say it now.
Or right after this.
or right after this meeting, so what you're
Sunday
gonna do on
doesn't have a
Sunday,
chance.
all right, is you're going to plate this for whoever you're going to give it to, okay? So I also made a little whipped cream. Or you can also use ice cream. You know, you can use whatever you like. So I whipped up this cream earlier.
Not a requirement.
It takes a while. And this is what you're going to do. I'm going to show you how you're going to plate it so you can see when you cut into it, it crunches. See, this is like a little piece of dough now. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a nice big piece and just kind of put it on the plate. And then you scoop out some of the stuff that's left behind. This is all the good gooey part, you know, and you put that right there.
That looks good.
And then you're going to put a nice big dollop of whipped cream on top.
Or ice cream.
Or
Ice cream is much better in my opinion.
Okay.
You got my vote.
Remember, we're going to bake this in the oven until about 2:30. So about 40 or 45 minutes. After about a half an hour, you want to look at it because if the top starts to get pretty brown, it might be done. So you want it, that's why I made one yesterday so you can see what it looks like. It's kind of, you can see, you'll be able to smell it too. It'll smell amazing. You're going to be so happy with how it smells. Everybody give themselves,
so good.
Everybody give themselves a round of applause.